Hey guys, Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by,
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
and this is our weekly games podcast. We're here to talk about the latest in gaming news, releases, speculation, business transactions, all that good stuff. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's surprisingly it's like 12:30 here because of the time difference, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But I'm awake. I'm ready. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about video games.
Yeah, and you told me that you actually had a streak of electricity, no
Yeah,
power
man. Since
cutoffs. For
Saturday.
your,
Since Saturday, I've had no cutoffs on electricity. You know what I mean? I'm going back to power cuts tomorrow, but like I did a bit of gaming, but it
mm-hmm.
mainly work, man. Just catching up on work because I work. For those who don't know, I freelance as a voice actor from home, home studio style. Um, and obviously, if there's no electricity, I can't work. So it's been
Yeah,
great. It's been great,
yeah.
man. Making that money.
Yeah, it's the things you appreciate until until you get them. Like I said, I went location scouting 2 weekends ago, and we had like no cell service, no internet, no electricity, and so once we got back to civilization, it was nice to have a break. But you kind of need those things at some point, so
Mm.
it was nice to have a little break. But once you get back, you appreciate. Oh, I can like look up stuff, and I can like we were literally me and my friend were like literally couldn't even look up like oh we want to just look up something we couldn't remember like an
Oh
actor in
yeah.
a movie or something like that. So anyways, it's weird because I did grow up in the generation before there was internet, so
Yeah.
you
Like
would think
I grew up in that crossover where we had like the healthy mix of like you play a couple video games, you get bored of it, and then you go outside, you play some soccer, or like
mhm.
some you go play some sports or play with some sticks and some rocks, and then you come back inside and you play video games again. It was a healthy mix. I do miss those days, man.
Yeah. So anyways, we aren't playing with rocks and sticks. We're playing games. Let's talk about the first thing. It's not the biggest news, but I just kind of want to talk about it straight off the top, which is the Super Mario Brothers movie. They had the official teaser trailer came out. This is the animated movie from Illumination, who does all the Minions and Despicable Me movies. So this is coming from Universal and Nintendo. As we know, Chris Pratt is starring as Mario. You have Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach. You have Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, and Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Anyways, the whole thing that people have been anticipating for this movie, and just to see the trailers, to see what Chris Pratt's voice as Mario was, because when he got cast, people were like a little surprised,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What's going on?" And then when it finally came out, most people were like, "That's it." They were kind of disappointed because it was basically it's Chris
Two
Pratt's voice
sentences.
with a little
Yeah.
twist, with a little bit of an
What
accent
baffles
on.
my mind, like, well, first of all, let's start with the good things. It does look good.
No,
Illumination does great animations. It does look very crisp. Mario has no ass. His ass is flat, but that's okay. It's probably it's a children's movie. You know what I mean? Also Jack Black killed it. Like
hmm
as much as I love Chris Pratt, but first of all, this is not it. This is not it, man. I don't care if he says he worked hard on this. It's also like here's the thing. Everyone's just saying like, oh, it's just Chris Pratt. No, he's doing a voice. I would prefer if it was just Chris Pratt, I'd be okay with that. But no, he's doing some weird Italian American accent that almost sounds more Jewish than Italian American, and it's really weird. Like just do what you did in the Lego movie, man. Like do a normal voice. You don't do accents.
yeah.
I've never seen this man do an accent in a movie in my life. You know what I mean? Why are you doing accents now? And it's like I don't know. Like, so the internet's been like fucking burning up. There's tweets upon tweet being like, "Oh, it's just Chris Pratt's normal voice." It's not his normal voice. Like,
It's his
if you listen
normal
to it,
voice, but
then
changed. It's like his
yeah,
voice, but like he alters it a little bit, but it's like not enough to be like a full on what we know as Mario's voice.
yeah. Unless
Um,
they fixed it in the, like another when they dropped the trailer officially, because I watched it in the live stream, so maybe there was a re-edit of him. But the version I saw at the live stream,
mhm.
like it was like the first thing comes out of his mouth, I was like, okay, that's just Chris Pratt. You know what I mean? Whatever. I would have been preferred if it was Mario's actual voice. Um, but then right at the end when he says, I think he says,
Mm-hmm.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come. He does like a weird like Mushroom Kingdom, here we come.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like he does like a like almost like not even a good like kind of Italian American accent. It was very odd. I will say there's a very popular clip that's been going around where someone did the AI. I hate AI voice. It's gonna put me out of work, man. Uh, anyway, someone did the AI voice of the actual voice of Mario to it and
Mm-hmm.
like redid the trailer with that, and it was so much better.
Mm.
Even just using the AI voice, it was so much better. It was drastically better. You know what I mean? And apparently the French dub sounds more like Mario
Uh,
than Chris Pratt does, which is hilarious.
yeah, I mean, there's a whole thing, and you must know this as well because you do it for a living. Is the reason they hire these like famous celebrities to do voices is not because they think
It
that
sells.
they
Yeah.
are the best person for that character. It's because that when they go on tour and do the press junkets and they do the red carpet and they do all the media tour, they can help pump and sell the movie.
Yeah.
So that you have all those names I mentioned: Chris Pratt and Anya Taylor-Joy and Charlie Day and Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen. So all those celebrities are in there, so that they can help market the movie. And then people hear, oh, so and so's in it, and okay, go check it out. Because even if there's like super talented voice actors in there, right? But people haven't heard of them, it's harder for them to market. That's just the reality of it.
Even for foreign countries, a good example was Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda 3, which is
Mm.
a Jack Black movie. He did so much press in Japan. And he's obviously not the Japanese voice for the movie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he even said it's so weird how they had him do so much like press in Japan, but they just needed that like famous name backing him,
Mm-hmm.
being everyone like, oh my god, it's Jack Black, let's go watch the movie. You know what I mean? Even though they're not gonna hear his voice, they're gonna watch the Japanese dub of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's name talent, it's recognition. It's why they'll always. That's why for big things like this, they will cast celebrities instead of like other voice. There's tons of voice actors that could have done a good job here. I will say, like I said, I like Jack Black. He did a good job with this. Keegan Michael Peel did a very good job as well.
Mm.
I also think like yeah, I look like I said in the first line he said I had no problem with. The second line he said I didn't like the accent. But that's only two sentences, and I do think everybody on the internet is being very harsh right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it also worries me because it's like maybe they gave us less on purpose because maybe they know it's a little weird, you know, or maybe it's good. The thing is like we won't know until it comes out. You know what I mean? It's one of those cases where they're definitely not bully. We can't bully the studio into changing it. You know what I mean? Or recasting it because I'm like there's contracts have been signed. Chris Pratt's been paid. He's probably one of like the most highest paying paid. He's probably one of the highest paying actors on this project.
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure, for sure.
So it's not like they can redo it. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. I know there's gonna be fan dubs afterwards, and like yeah, I might just end up watching those if it's not that good. The animation looks good. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
I
the
like
animation
that.
looks great.
And I like where it looks like the story seems a little quirky. It seems a little funny. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be good. The movie at least. It's just like I really hope he's not doing an Italian American accent, or if he is, I
Oh,
hope
he
it's just better
is.
than what. If it is, it's
Oh,
just
he
I hope it's
is.
better than what I heard. Like I hope maybe it gets better. Maybe that was just a bad take because it was just not good. Like it was just not good, man. And like I think the Italian American accent would be great for Mario, even though he's not Italian American. He's just Italian. I think the Italian American like accent it would make sense for an American actor to do that. You know what I mean? But do it good, man.
Do it good.
Or like, you know,
It's like
exactly.
that,
Like,
that's like that famous David Lynch line. What was it like?
yeah, if you're gonna do it, do it good. You
do
know?
it, do that, but do it good.
Yeah, it's so yeah, maybe I'm being a bit critical as a voice actor myself. It's just like I don't know, man. And I'm being hard on Chris Pratt because he's a good actor. He can do better. It's like his sound engineer didn't like cuz I know that there was a sound engineer in the room in the booth with him going, "You sure you want to do this, Mr. Pratt?" You know, like someone must have been like, "That's a choice. That's definitely a choice." You know? Like, oh well. Anyways,
Sometimes when
yeah.
you're the biggest star or the biggest whatever,
Everyone's just gonna be
room.
yes men around you.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that was great, Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
You
there was
know?
a great story about. I was watching like an old interview with Matt Damon about the first day on set on not his first day, but John Malkovich's first day on set on Rounders. You know,
Oh yeah.
John Malkovich is very famous for that very over the top
I do
Russian
love
accent.
John Malkovich. Yeah.
and he was saying like the first scene they did, like John Malkovich had this suit. I mean, it's over top in the movie, but I guess his first delivery was like even more over the top and even more crazy. And Matt Damon said he was like looking at John Malkovich and thought he was fucking with him with the accent, and he said like the whole crew was like clapping and like cheering and stuff, and so because it was John Malkovich, and so I think they were able to tone it down later. I mean, it's still, like I said, it's still crazy, but
it's a choice, that's for sure. I know exactly what you're talking about as well. Yeah.
So anyways, with this movie,
maybe we're being critical.
Well,
we have to play devil's advocate. It was two sentences.
It's coming on April 7th next year, 2023. We'll see. Like you mentioned, the animation looks good. We only heard 2 lines. Maybe we got to hear some more. They definitely did purposely hold it back, because if you watch the trailer, Mario's not in it for like 50% of it. It's like, they do the whole thing, and then he comes out and he only says like very minimal. I think they're trying to ease your way into it. Like, look, we know that Mario has a unique voice, and here we're gonna kind of like ease you into getting used to Chris Pratt doing that voice. Anyways, but you know what? I'll still watch it when it comes out. I'll see how it is.
It looks like it's gonna be a fun movie. You know what I mean? I really do think it's gonna be a fun movie. I just hope it's like, if it's something I can look past, I'm happy. But I hope it's not one of those things where I'm gonna be like, "Yay, happy movie, happy movie," and then he talks and I'm like, just like glass shattering in the background, and I'm like, okay, shut up, go back to everybody else. I hope that's not the case, because it's Mario. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if the movie's only coming out, then they're not gonna cast someone new. Like I said, they can't. But maybe, just maybe, the backlash will potentially give us some ADR. Maybe they come in, they do some ADR, they fix a couple things, or he either leans into it. Because here's the thing: it's like, the reason why I said it's an interesting choice is because I feel like he didn't commit. You know what I mean? And that's why it sounds like a bad Italian American accent to me, because it just sounds like he didn't commit to it. You know what I mean? It sounds like he wasn't sure of his choice. And you have to really commit to your choices as an actor, even if they're not good ones. You have to commit. You know what I mean? So either he goes back and he does like a more intense Italian American accent, or he just goes back and he's just Chris Pratt doing the voice, which is what, like, look, if people are like, hey, let's go watch Chris Pratt in this Mario movie, which there's not a lot of people saying that, but if they were, they'd want to hear Chris Pratt in the Mario movie, Jack Black's doing a voice, but he's doing it good, and he's doing it in a way that suits Bowser. You know what I mean? I just feel like the tone that Chris Pratt shows as well doesn't really suit Mario. I know he's a lot more high-pitched. It didn't have to be high-pitched, but I think he made him like sound nasally almost, you know what I mean? I think it could have just been more like average Joe kind of voice, Yeah.
So we'll see. I am still looking forward to it. I do want to see a full trailer. I'm sure they'll have more of the voice in there. Also, this situation is different than the Sonic one, because the Sonic one, when they were doing the reanimation after the outcry, it didn't involve like a star coming in to redo anything. They were just obviously, like most films, put all the pressure on the 3D artists, visual effects artists and 3D artists. All the pressure was on them. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully either one, the rest of the movie isn't like this, or two, it's not, we get used to it, and it's.
I think
not
even
as
Sarah
often.
Strong, the very famous voice actor, I think even she was complaining, like, why not just get Charles Martinet to do it? You know what I mean? The original.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're here now. It's like I said, it's like we can't change it. We can't bully a studio into changing their movie again. You know what I mean? Like, at least not in this case, because like you can bully a studio into changing their CGI. You know what I mean? Because they can, to changing a character design, sure, but you can't screw with the celebrity's paycheck, man. There's a lot of lawyers involved. A lot of lawyers are involved in that.
Also, he's not going back in there to like, redo the whole movie. I say parts here.
I feel like if he gets enough backlash, I think I think he would want to, like, because the thing is, Chris Pratt, like, he comes across as a pretty decent guy, I think if he feels like he's let people down, I think, like, just out of the kindness of his heart, he would go back and try to do a proper job. Because it sounds horrible to say this. I'm not a fan of dubbing because it is difficult, and I have a lot of respect to people that dub, And like when you're in the original voice cast, you still have to dub. They show you the animation. You're talking along with the animation in front of you. It's tricky. Not a lot of people can do it. It usually doesn't pay very well as well. I mean, in this case, it probably did, but so I know it's difficult. But you could easily go back and just take like a week or two of his life off and just knock it out again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next topic, which is kind of more of an insight into Microsoft's Game Pass and how much money they make, because a lot of rumors going around. Even Sony executives have thrown shade to them, basically saying, hey, how are they going to sustain this model? They're spending so much money. They're not making any money. But apparently, I think in the disclosures, if I'm not mistaken, for the Xbox Activision Blizzard merger, and I think it was for Brazil, they had to release some stats or whatever.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to Brazil's regulatory body, Xbox Game Pass revenue from subscriptions stands at $2.9 billion in the fiscal year ending January 2021. So this is from the beginning of the beginning of January 2020 all the way to January 2021. So
that's basically like 3.3 roughly % of the fucking acquisition that it cost them. Like in a year, they made 3.3% of that money back.
Yeah, but remember this is revenue. This is gross revenue, this is not profit. But
it's true.
But it shows that, because remember, they're paying out all this money to third parties and their own first party studios that they have to fund to get these exclusives on their titles. But what it shows is that it is sustainable. The more people that you get on there, right? Because right now, I think they have 25 million subscribers. Back then, they only had 18 to 19. So imagine another 5-6 million on top of what was reported. 5 or 6 million times, let's say $10 a month for a whole year. That's 100. That's a lot of money. So,
well, plus or minus, you get regional price. Like I got regional pricing. I pay about what is it? I think I pay 100 rand, which is like more like $6 or $7 roughly. But they have to, because obviously otherwise people in my country can't afford it. Like you have to do regional pricing.
Plus deals, right? Like I remember when I got mine, it was like 2 years. I paid for 2 years. Stuff. Yeah, stuff like that. So there's obviously some,
You do also get discounts if you want to buy anything that's not which obviously you're not going to buy anything that's already on Game Pass. But if it's something that's not on Game Pass but available on the Microsoft Store or whatever, you usually get discounts. 10%, 20% here, which is always good little benefits as well.
Yeah. So this just kind of shows where where they're at and where they're heading and why they're so intent on buying places like Activision, Blizzard, and Bethesda before that, so that they could put all that stuff, on their service, so that more and more people will subscribe. So,
yeah, I do think it's funny that for a long time, you said Sony was kind of trashing it, being it's not profitable, and then they released their tiered system to PS Plus. You know what I mean? That's hilarious. I'll segue into this real quick. Okay. Because this was just regarding PS Plus. I don't see this being profitable for them. Look, well, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like billion-dollar buyouts, but basically Sony paid $3.5 million to put Ark Survival Evolved on PlayStation Plus. I love that game. I truly do love the game. Put a lot of hours into it. It's a great multiplayer experience. I like survival crafting games. This one has dinosaurs. You know what I mean? It's a cool game. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know if this includes all the DLC and stuff as well. I think it's just the base game. That's a lot of money. But the thing is, it's a good game, but I don't see it being the thing where people are like, oh, I gotta get PS Plus now. Ark Survival Evolved is on there. That game that's been around for years that I probably already own on multiple devices. It was free on Epic Games. I'm pretty sure at one point in time, I could be wrong, but I think it was back when PS Plus was doing the free monthly games or whatever. I think it could have been a free monthly game a couple years ago. You know what I mean? It's almost always on sale on PC, other consoles as well. So a lot of people already own the game is the issue. But I suppose what they're thinking is it's like, hey, it's a multiplayer experience, you know?
Yeah.
The guys that do have PlayStation Plus and the tier that gets them all those games and stuff, that maybe they'll play Ark Survival Evolved because it's new. You know what I mean? Well, new to the service, if you will. They play it and they're like, "This is awesome. I want my friends to play it." And then they kind of like pull their friends in to get PS Plus as well.
I mean, like you had mentioned
yeah,
before
goal, I
that.
suppose.
Didn't you tell me that you have a Discord that's just for your friends who have Game Pass?
Game Pass games,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of Game Pass. And so that makes sense for this, because I think Microsoft paid $2.5 million for a 6-month window for Ark Survival to be on there. And I think they didn't disclose the price, but they paid money for the upcoming Ark 2. So when it launches, it also will be on Game Pass probably day one.
I didn't see that. Yeah. So yeah, Game Pass paid $2.5 million just for 6 months. I guess that makes sense then, because if so $3.5 million for one. So Sony paid $3.5 million for 1 month. So that's
yeah.
Damn.
But remember, that's to own. That's to own. Like you get it, you own it. Microsoft is like
as long as you're paying for PlayStation Plus. Yeah.
Yes.
You get it and you own it. As long as you're yeah. I don't know if that's going to be worth it for them or not. But then again, it's like to a $1 billion company, it can't be. Or I don't know how much the company's worth, but it's. I wouldn't say it's peanuts to them, but it's not like. It's not going to hurt them if it doesn't like come back. You know what I mean? And it's also, I suppose, good to be like, hey, look at the free monthly games we have. Like I see they got Ghost Runner for PS5. Ghost Runner is a fun game. I prefer playing it on mouse and keyboard because it's very fast paced. Sonic Racing coming to PS4. The Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which is free, is coming as well. I don't get that. Wasn't that free? Like, we own the game, and wasn't the whole Legends mode free? Did they make that like a? Is that no longer free? Like, why are they saying like, hey?
I don't know.
We got it for free.
Maybe if you don't own the game, you got to pay for it or something like that.
Or maybe it's a standalone. Maybe it's a standalone.
It's probably like a standalone version if you don't want to pay for the campaign, and then you just want to play multiplayer. Maybe you have to pay for it.
We got it for free with the game as a DLC later on. But yeah, so that makes sense. Probably as a standalone version. That's a lot of money. I just wanted to bring that in anyway. Segue into that. A lot of money for 1 month, but then like you said, people get to own it. You know what I mean? As long as they're paying their monthly PS Plus subscription. Yeah.
Here we go. MetaConnect, 2022. So basically, the company formerly known as Facebook and also Oculus launched, and they had their conference today, and they revealed the very not so secret MetaQuest Pro, which was Project Cambria. They had talked about that in an earlier, I think last year or maybe earlier this year. Anyways, it's coming out on October 25th. You can pre-order today, but it comes in at a whopping $1,499.99. This is for the headset, the controllers. There's a bunch of like charging dock. It's got all the bells and whistles, but man, $1,500 is a lot of money. This is not meant for the average consumer. It's not meant for if you want to play games. This is not it. This is mainly
you could play games on it.
You can. Yes, you can. You can play all the Quest games on there. It's fine, but it's mainly
more for like workstation vibes, right?
Yes, it has the pass through cameras are in color, so you can actually do AR. The RAM is doubled. Interestingly, the chip is the same chip, but supposedly because they have a better cooling on it now, they can run it 30 to 50%.
Wasn't it like a 200? It's more than 200 gigs as well. Like I know that the size is like the hard drive space is pretty big too, which is
256 gigs. So
yeah, 256 gigs. Yeah. It does. Like, here's the thing as well. Like, from all, I watched the Adam Savage tested review of it. It was very in depth. It was like a 35-minute kind of like in depth video about all of it, and that's a lot of money. Like I'm not gonna lie, that's a lot of money. You could buy yourself a beastly gaming PC for that price as well. You know what I mean? Or build your own. To be fair, you can build your own fucking beastly gaming PC for that price. But I will say it does look and feel premium. Like everything about it does look. My biggest issue with it is the fact that it doesn't seem like you can take the strap off. It does come with the Pro strap, which is I do like the Pro strap. I got the Pro strap initially when I got my Quest 2. I since then upgraded to a Halo strap, which I like more. I understand that they can't give you the Halo strap because Sony patented it, which is why I used a third-party distributor. I think it was called Bobo VR. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. As far as I know, Sony owns the patent to the Crown system when it comes to virtual VR devices and in general, which is why they have to have the Pro strap's the closest thing that they can get to that. You know what I mean? I appreciate that, but it's like for $1,500 and there's no customization. You know what I mean? Like so, well, it better be perfect. You know what I mean? Because you can't. It doesn't seem like there's. Well, maybe it comes. Does that come with a battery pack at the end there? Or is just like that? Just
that's
thing?
where no, that's the thing. They put the battery pack there, like there's like an Elite strap. So they're copying the Elite strap with power pack design, where the battery is on the
counterweight. It's a good counterweight. Yeah.
But in this one, it's in there for permanently. So you can't. So you can't remove it. You know what I mean? Like if you remove it.
So it is a battery, or is it just a counterweight?
It is a battery. It is a battery.
So it is a battery. Well, that's good then. So it's all built. I like that. But like I said, it does suck that you can't adjust it to put on, for instance. At least it doesn't look like it. From all the angles I've seen it, it doesn't look like you can remove the strap. It looks like it's all built in. It does look like a nicer version of the strap. But yeah, man, I prefer that Halo strap. Some people prefer the Pro strap with the counterweight at the back. I prefer the Halo so that the headset just kind of hovers in front of your face rather than being like suctioned onto it. I will, however, say, man, those lenses are sexy. Did you see the lenses?
Yeah. They're
like
much better than
fully adjustable. Oh yeah, like that's the first thing that caught my attention. If I had money to throw around, hell yeah, I'd get one of these and use it for gaming. Keeping in mind, it is not for gaming. You can use it for gaming, but it is going to be more used, at least for like pushing their like virtual desktop, their VR desktop kind of related stuff. I also saw that you can use one of the controllers as like a pen, like you can just like put it on your table and just write with it. Like there's like a little nub at the end of the controller that you can like use to like write with and stuff. I like that. That's cool. It's going to be easier for you to have meetings, a lot of virtual reality meetings. I do see people using these a lot in meetings, and most likely in the future doctors and stuff like that too. Though maybe the HoloLens in the future will be more adaptable for that kind of work. But yeah, it seems like this is more for work than anything else. Like that. Well, that's the whole point of it is to do work. But you can do both with it. You know what I mean? Like if it'd be silly to like only use it for work if you own it. You're definitely gonna try out some of the games. You may as well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a C price. Definitely a business case use. There is the controllers. Like part of the reason why it's more expensive is the controllers actually have cameras on them now. So you know how before
so it's tracking. Yeah.
Yes. So before when you had the Quest, like it would lose track. Like you go behind your, like, but so the whole benefit of the base stations, right? The old way of doing VR that the Index, Valve Index has and whatnot, and the previous, like the HTC Vive and everything is that they had this box sensors, but it was a pain in the ass to set up. But it would get you your full body. Yeah. But you would get a full body motion. Now this is like a good step in that direction where, okay, you don't need the box sensors, but it can track. It's not, I don't think it's as good as the box sensors, but it's getting close. So that's another advancement in technology.
Yeah, so I think it's got eye tracking as well, or it should have eye
tracking.
Yes,
it does. It has face and eye tracking.
Which is going to be good for like, well, for your virtual reality meetings, you know what I mean? Where you can actually now, technically, you can hold eye contact with somebody, which is probably going to be very weird, like to experience, at least the first time. I think it's going to be a very eerie experience where it's like, I can see your eyes moving. You can see my eyes moving. So if I'm talking to you and your eyes are like to the left, I'm going to be like, dude, hello. I can tell that you're not looking at me, you know?
Yeah.
Makes the interaction a lot more real. I like that. It seems like I think the hand tracking is going to be better because they got the better cameras on it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall a better headset. And I think this is still on topic of it. It seems like the Quest 2 has been upped in price. Could be wrong about that, but I did hear that.
This is like $50 or something like that.
I think, for instance, the 256 gigabyte one I think that's going to be retailing for $500 now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's the bundle, maybe. You know what I mean? That comes with
Mm-hmm.
everything, so like $100 more, but you also get the more space. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I could be wrong on the numbers here, but I do remember when I was watching Adam Savage's tested version of it, he did say that the Quest 2 is gonna. They're still pushing Quest 2 hard. There's no Quest 3 yet. Quest 2 is like gonna be the consumer go-to product for VR. It sells really well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they can get that price point any lower. Like, so it makes sense. Maybe they're upping it now for chip shortage purposes. I'm not too
Mm-hmm.
sure. Um, but yeah, I'm just happy I already own one and I already got mine. I got mine on a good price. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it's I think people were expecting something, especially a more affordable price, but they kind of already been saying for a while, like, hey, this
That is not
is,
going to be for the average consumer. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There was kind of a lack of new game announcements. They did say like some older games that weren't previously available on the Quest are coming. Like, for example, the Iron Man VR game that was on PSVR is now coming to the Quest 2. Um, the Walking Dead
That's
Saints
gonna
and
be cool, I guess.
The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. But there wasn't like a huge like announcement of like all these like brand new games, which to be honest, there's been kind of lacking. I know we'll get to this later about Bone Lab. Bone Lab was a pretty big release that came out recently,
That's
but
from the people that made Boneworks, right?
yeah, it's like a sequel,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay.
so that is there, but it's I don't know, it's
We got a price for the Among Us game, which I was happy about because I didn't know how much it was going to cost. I don't know if they were going to milk it or not. It's $10. I'm happy with that.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's obviously costs more than like the game, which is like $3 or something. But it's a VR game. It's not a
yeah. What do you
top-down
expect?
2D. You know,
Yeah.
like look, I love Among Us, but let's just say that it didn't take like the world's biggest geniuses to create that game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's literally like it's based off of the games we used to play in like kindergarten and stuff. You know what I mean? I used to literally play. I forgot what we used to call it. We used to play it in like grade school. I don't know what the American school system's weird. It's for us. It's primary
Mm-hmm.
school, so like around fourth grade. I don't know what that is. Is that middle school?
Fourth grade
Fourth.
is no, it's elementary still, at least for us
So yeah,
here.
so like around like it's a lot of elementary school games we used to play, but they just turned it into an actual playable game online, and it thrived during 2020 because the
Mm-hmm.
entire world was locked away. It was a very social game, which is great. I've really been excited for the VR game because I think I mean I could be wrong, but I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to cheat in the VR game. The whole reason I stopped playing local, like you gotta play Among Us with your friends because
Mm-hmm.
you cannot play you can't just join a lobby. It's a 100% gonna have a bunch of cheaters in it, and
Mm-hmm.
like people using hacks and stuff, and it's not fun. I don't see how you could like, it, maybe if you jailbreak your Quest, but no one's gonna really want to jailbreak their Quest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming it's gonna have microphones built in, so you get to talk to people, which is nice. You know, previously you had to type that out unless you're on a Discord server with the people you're playing with. So I'm really
Mm-hmm.
looking forward to that Iron Man VR game. I'm down to try it out, but it's very gimmicky. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's very gimmicky for sure.
Yeah. There was something that was tied to our last subject, which is, and you had mentioned this also right before we started recording, which is Xbox Cloud
Oh
Gaming
yeah.
is coming to MetaQuest. So I personally don't see quite a use for it, but maybe some people enjoy playing games on the. For me, like having the VR headset on for longer than.
Big picture mode, right?
I mean, yeah, you can play it on like basically. Well, it'll look like you're playing on like a big theater screen. That's how your mind
Yeah.
will interpret it. But for me, putting on the headset longer than an hour or so, I usually do about an hour worth of VR at a time because after a while, just your eyes and
Here's the
and your
here's the
head
thing with
gets a
that
little.
big picture mode as well, is that not everything it's only what you're looking at, the focal point of what you're looking at that's going to be in focus. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I don't know if my eyes are just really bad when I play VR games, but the only thing that's in focus is the thing I'm looking at. Everything
Mm-hmm.
else in my peripherals is blurry. So if you're looking at the big, like that's my issue. Why I don't like the big picture mode is because it's
Mm-hmm.
like I want clarity, man.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the Quest works is that it's only gonna like focus on the thing that you're looking at. You know what I mean? Like the
Mm-hmm.
focal point, and then it gets blurry the further out it gets. So that's why I don't like. That's why I don't like watching movies. I don't like watching videos. You know what I mean? The 3D videos work, you know, like the VR videos, those work because they're meant for that. You know what I mean? You're gonna move your head around and look at things anyways. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if I'm just looking at like a flat screen, and if it's big enough, it just gets blurrier on the edges. You know?
Yeah. Some other notes. Population
Cool,
One.
cool
There.
that it's coming though.
Yeah.
Cool that it's coming.
Population One, which was a
Battle
battle
Royale.
royale VR game, which was very popular. So popular that Oculus bought the company. Basically, they're coming out with a sandbox mode that you can bring in user-generated content into,
Oh, cool.
which I think will help with the longevity of the game. There's a new project coming called Behemoth. There's only a teaser trailer that didn't really show anything, but that's from the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners team. And Meta also acquired Armature Studio, which is the people who did the port for Resident Evil 4. So definitely Oculus is trying to beef up their first party.
Oh, I will
team.
say I didn't see this initially, but it seems like there's a dock for your MetaQuest to charge and stuff.
Yes, that comes with it too.
That's pretty cool.
It's
actually.
definitely
I
a
like that.
premium experience. It's going to be better.
Yeah.
Oh, the one thing I
It
forgot.
better be for 1,500 bucks.
The one thing I forgot to mention though, that's the bad thing about the controllers, because it does have the tracking cameras. The batteries run out a lot quicker. They said it's basically like a 2-hour battery. You know, like the batteries that you have now for your regular controllers, they're just like they're like one AA battery. They'll last
I
you.
I invested in some rechargeable ones and like bought
for
one of those like
for how much I play. I
rechargeable units.
only change it once a month. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm on that thing a lot for work and for games. You know, so it lasts
Man,
a long
I,
time.
I,
so.
I know I keep going back to it because we're not talking about it. But I love those lenses, man. They're so sick. They're so sick for the MetaQuest Pro, man. Those lenses are so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. That is unfortunate. I also only replace my batteries. Maybe I use my headset less than you for sure.
Yeah.
I replace my batteries once every 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
But I
Makes
bought
sense.
like the rechargeable ones because I got sick and tired of buying them. Like I still have to take them out and then plug them into a thing and plug it into the wall and charge it. But I don't know. I don't know if batteries are even recyclable. I don't know. I feel bad. I would feel bad buying batteries over and over again if I could just recharge them. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they come with a charging station as well for maybe not a charging station, like for the headset, but for the Quest Pro, it has like a charging connector or something for your controllers, so that it makes it easier to like charge them. Yeah, it's a full-on premium experience. It's just very, very expensive, and you're not really, getting, at least for gaming purposes, you're not really gaining much. It's definitely.
It looks like the dock has room for the controllers as well. That charging dock.
Yeah,
I'm looking
maybe
at it from the bird's eye view. Because there's like the connection for the front of the headset, and there's like another thing at the back to charge.
Yeah.
So it looks like it might be. Could be wrong though.
So our next topic is semi-related to this, which is there's going to, at least all indications point to a brand new VR headset coming from Valve. Now, there's kind of two rumors coming around, and maybe they're both true. One is kind of a more portable standalone solution, much like the Quest, because people are saying that Valve's success with the Steam Deck and being able to get basically a portable PC powered into a little handheld device will lead to technology so that they can make a headset like that as well. The other is a follow-up to the Index, which, at the time when the Index came out, and it still is one of the more premium VR headsets, but it's a few years old now, so that maybe there's a successor to that, upping the premium factor to that. So I'm not sure which one it is. Both could be true. Which one would you rather see?
I'd rather see the thing that they're going to release in 10 years from now. I don't know if you remember it, but a long time ago they got caught with a couple of patents that looks like it looks like the thing that Professor X puts on when he's in that room and he wants to look at all the X-Men. It's like it's supposed to read your brainwaves. At least that's what the patent looks like. It's like it's almost like a helmet. There's a bunch of straps across your head with a bunch of readers like neuron. That's the thing I'm excited for. I know we're very far away from that. In in terms of this, like I still think the quest. I still think the index holds up, man. So I'd like to see a more. I'd like to see a competitor to the Quest. You know,
Okay.
that's what personally. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see that market getting more competitive. For that, like, make it more like. Obviously, you're not gonna give us the same quality of the index, but they can give us like an index light or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's what I'd be looking forward to. You know, I still think the index holds up pretty well. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a game changer to be able to play PC VR or PC quality games onto a VR headset. You know, obviously the Quest 2 is pretty good for what it is. It still is a cell phone, chip basically powering it with the Android, system. So you are definitely limited, in your poly counts, the kind of lighting effects that you can do on there. So it
I
would
prefer
be.
their controllers. That's why I would like to see them do a more like a light version, if you
Mm-hmm,
will, like possibly hands free. That'd be
mm-hmm,
nice. Like they may have to go the same route and also running it off of like a fucking cell phone chip as well.
mm-hmm,
But I think that they have the superior controller. You know what I mean? And if they can do a couple other things, like maybe have a wider field of view, that's
mm-hmm.
competitive enough to like for some people to do that instead.
Yeah.
Um, because look, it's Steam itself. Like Steam has a huge library of VR games
Mm-hmm,
itself. Like what I usually play, most of my VR games are from Steam. Like I hook up the AirLink to my PC, open up like get that all running, and then I open up the Steam VR app through the Oculus app, and I just run my Steam games on my Oculus headset. That's what I do. It's also like, well, because at least out here, Oculus doesn't do regional pricing, so the games are the exact same games that are on the Quest are drastically cheaper on Steam, and they're usually on sale. So I just run it through there, and they work perfectly fine,
mm-hmm.
you know. So I do think that they could do their own Airlink type thing. It's, I think it's too soon for them to come out with an Index 2, you know.
Mm. Yeah,
Personally,
makes sense. Makes sense. All right, next thing up, we have Gotham Knights. They had an official cinematic launch trailer. The game is coming out October 21st, which is only 10 days from now. It was an interesting cinematic launch trailer because it was kind of focused on the individual characters themselves and kind of.
do love the aesthetic of it though. It's very like pretty looking, you know.
Yeah, it looks good. It's just that it was interesting take that they did for this cinematic trailer because it was kind of more about each individual character and their internal thoughts and how they relate to, in this story, Batman dying, which I still don't think he's dead. I think he's going to show up in the last level of this game. And then you get to see the Court of Owls. But there wasn't much like action to this. There wasn't much,
I mean, it was a CGI,
yeah.
cutscene as well. But like,
Yeah.
like I said, for as far as CGI cutscenes go, I think it was very artistic. I enjoyed it. If that's setting the pace for the cutscenes that are going to be in game, then I'm excited. Like, as much as I love graphics getting to the point where we don't need CGI cutscenes, I like a good CGI cutscene, man. You know what I mean? Like, I really do. You know, I'm happy with that. That's like, I mean, look, half the reason you play this game, if not more, is for the story. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it looks like it's setting that up pretty good. Most of the gameplay I've seen looks really good. I love Red Hood, and I just feel like they did him a little dirty. He punches his bullets out of his gun instead of holding his gun and shooting. He's like punching his bullets out. He's like, if I punch while shooting, bullets go faster, right? Not all the time, but every now and then he does it, and I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
get that it looks cool, but it's like also I think it's dumb. And he's one of my favorite characters. I think Red Hood is awesome. You know. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to playing this game.
I really hope the story does deliver because I'll be honest, like I'll be playing this game more for the story I mean, obviously I want the gameplay to be good and the action to be good, but I'm just hoping that there's enough
Have you
in
played
the
the
story
previous Arkham games?
I played the first one and the second one. What was it?
Yeah, the
Arkham
second one was
Asylum
best.
and Arkham City.
Yeah.
I didn't finish
What-
either one of them, but I played both of them.
Man,
They were
look, the
cool. I
story-
liked them, but
Yeah, the story always slaps Dennis. Like that's also
Okay.
why I hope they don't drop the ball. It's just like I'm a little jaded in that sense, but or biased, I suppose is a better term, but I loved the stories.
Mm-hmm.
I never finished Origins, which I do hope to get around to at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the storyline to Arkham Knight, though found the gameplay a bit repetitive, but the story was cool, you know?
Yeah. All right, here, our next up. Oh, game that I played. They had a sale on the Arkham stuff, so I did buy Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight.
Nice.
They were like dirt cheap. It was like, I think
It was a couple. Yeah, I remember it was a couple weeks ago. I was tempted to get the full collection for Arkham Knight
yeah, it
because
was like
there was a lot, all the DLC and stuff as well.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that each one was like $4 or something like that. I don't know, something ridiculous
Yeah.
cheap. Still haven't played it yet, but too many games. Anyway, speaking of games, the game that I've been playing lately, and that I actually put up a first impressions review on the channel if you want to check it out more in depth. But I think I'm probably like in the minority on this one, which is Bone Lab, which is the sequel to Boneworks. It's the first time they've brought it to the Quest. I played it, and even though it was very, like, they had very cool game mechanics and everything, I just don't know if the game is for me.
Is it different from Boneworks? Like,
I
what's the
only
main
play.
difference?
I only played a little bit of Boneworks. I know it's more sandbox focused than campaign focused. The first game I remember reading that had like an 8 or 9 hour campaign, and at the end of it opened up a sandbox mode that you can do all the stuff
Fun
with it.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so in this one, the sandbox mode opens up in the second level like pretty quickly, so you can kind of go off and do that and that stuff. I played around with it. It's just not for me. I'm kind of more of a campaign type of guy. But I've played a lot of VR and you know, I play in Locomotion, which is like the kind of free whatever moving. I'm not teleporting or anything like that. And even this kind of made me feel nauseous playing this game. You know, I could only play it for about 30 minutes or so at a time.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
For you to say that means
Yeah.
a lot because like I played that Zenith game and I just couldn't, man. I
Yeah.
wanted to enjoy Zenith so bad, but it gave me severe motion sickness. Like I could not. And
think
you
this
played
would-
that and you didn't have you had no issues with the motion sickness, right?
Yeah, or very little.
So for you, yeah. For you to say that you had an issue means that it must be pretty bad in terms of motion sickness.
I think it has to do with
Yeah.
because they do have real cool game physics to it, where you know you can kind of move around, you can grab things, and like so everything is kind of, and that's what probably makes the sandbox fun for a lot of people is that you can kind of experiment and do a lot of different things, and you don't always get the same result. But
so this is for the Quest specifically, right? Or
well,
like
it's on
Quest-
PC. It's on PC, but
Yeah.
there's a Quest version which Boneworks never had a Quest version.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah.
does.
Well, I mean, you could play it, but you'd have to have a PC, run Steam VR through your
yes,
Oculus Air
which is
Link.
fine. Which is
yeah.
fine. I played both Bone Lab on the PC through AirLink and also played the Quest version as well. You know. So either or, it's fine, especially if you have your PC near you. It's just that, you know, I just don't know if it's for me. You know, I'm looking for like a very polished, very like narrative-driven thing that motivates you to go forward in the game. Not so much like It's weird.
That's why Red Matter was good. Because it
Yeah.
like, dragged you in with that like mystery level, you know what I mean? You want to know what happened and stuff like that.
And so the puzzles that were in that game were like pushing
Yeah.
you towards a narrative, where the puzzles in here are just in there just to be in there. And I don't know.
They're like,
Psy-
look at
psy-
the cool physics. It's fun, you know?
The psychologically for me, for some reason, I'm just more interested in like a narrative reason to solve a puzzle than I am
Each
just
to
a
their own.
puzzle to
I
be
mean,
there. Yeah.
yeah. I've been hearing good things about it.
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
Like from a lot of people, you know what I mean?
Like I
It's
said,
also-
I'm
it's
in the
one of those
minority on
cases-
this.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where like I think that Red Dead Redemption 2 is a 10 out of 10 masterpiece game, but it is
So do
not
I.
for me. It's
Yeah.
it's not for me because it's slow. It's just not my kind of game. It's a fantastic. I can appreciate the crap out of it and I can respect the crap out of it, but it is just too slow paced for me, man. Like it's just too slow paced for me. Like getting everyone on horseback. I'm not a very like I'm patient in real life, but in video games, I don't have patience in video games. I do not have patience in video games, man. That's why even playing things like StarCraft, I rush. That's why I play Zerg, man. Just rush.
I'm the opposite. I'm Protoss. Protoss.
I do love me some Protoss plays, but yeah, I rushed Zerg, man. I just like spawn those little Zerglings, double them up, send them out. You know what I mean? It says a lot about my gaming play style, but yeah.
All right, so moving on. Next thing, this is my last thing, but I know you have a few things as well. But just the RTX 4090. It's
huge.
It is humongous.
Like, actually huge.
Yeah, it's humongous. The good thing about it coming out, the price tag is $1,600. That's not the good thing. The good thing is that now the 3090 has reduced. I saw a sale for $900 for the 3090 now.
That's pretty decent.
Yeah. So because the 4090 is coming out, I mean, it is super huge. I mean,
I've been eyeballing the 3060 for a while because the 3060 prices have dropped a lot too.
Well,
I do want to try to get a 3070, but the 3060 is looking pretty affordable to me right now. Like I'm considering it, yeah.
There's some gaming desktops that for around 900 to 1,000 that include the 3060 with it. You know, I was kind of looking at Anyways,
have you seen the memes, by the way, when the 4090 dropped the Founders Edition? I just saw memes of like the 9090, and it's just a giant graphics card attached to the side of a building, and there's a gamer inside. You just see through the window some guy on his desktop, but the graphics card is just strapped to the outside of his building, and it's like half the size of the building. The memes have been great, man. That thing is huge. It's like you're gonna have to get a custom case for that. Well,
yes,
maybe not, but like it
takes up a
custom cases
lot of space, and you need I'm sure you need a big power supply to work
huge
this
PSU.
Thing. Dude, this thing looks like it could be a console in itself. That's how big it is.
It's huge, man. It's insanely huge.
Yeah.
Man. Dude, I wish I had one though. Not gonna lie,
no.
my power supply probably couldn't handle it, but I think my
power supply definitely couldn't.
My
handle
CPU will not bottleneck on it at least, or like I did my research. That's why I'm looking at a 3060, 3070 because I won't have any bottlenecking experience, and my PSU can handle that. At least from the research I did, but yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my next step will be like a desktop that includes, either 3060 or 3070 or something like that. That'll be my next thing.
I didn't want to upgrade until I played Deathloop, and I realized that my 2060 had to play Deathloop on its low settings, and I was like, oh my god, it's happened. We're here. I can't even play on medium graphics.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, I can still play things like Cyberpunk on ultra graphics or whatever with the ray tracing off, but it's like, I guess the game was out a while ago as well, but man, like that kicked me in the nads, man. I'm enjoying Deathloop, by the way, but holy crap, like I can't play it on anything better than its low settings. I guess my resolution matters too. I'm playing it on 1440p, like double the resolution you'd usually play it on.
Yeah, I'm on 1440 as well.
While I'm speaking of Deathloop, I'll actually add this in real quick. Arcane has confirmed that it is part of the Dishonored universe.
Yeah, I read about that, which I've played a little bit of the first game, so I don't know how that works, but...
I never finished the second game. I played the crap out of the first game. But so supposedly it takes place after the events of Death of an Outsider. And I'm guessing not set in London because the main, at least the guy you're playing is not British, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's set in the same universe. It makes sense because the controls are very much like, I was getting that feel. I was just thinking like, oh, it's just another Arcane FPS game, you know what I mean? And that's the feeling I got from it. But it was cool. I mean, it's cool little. It doesn't change anything, you know what I mean? It's cool though. It's cool that it's in the same universe. Maybe a crossover. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. All right, I think that's it for my topics. I know you have a few that you want to go over.
Yeah, one that I really don't like, and I think that they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're not going to do this, which is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is going to require you to add your cell phone number to be able to play multiplayer. I believe the reason why, so it's because there were like suspicious login attempts, password changes. So people now need to like link their phone number to their account. I also think it's one of those things where it's like getting rid of cheaters and hackers and stuff, where it's more punishable, where it's like, hey, you'd have to go and get a whole new cell phone number if you want to come play the game again and hack the game again, or like it's just another deterrent. But there's no, like this is gonna blow up in their face. I know Overwatch 2 tried to do it and then they backtracked on it very quickly because they saw that it's like people just aren't gonna play the game then. But yeah, so far as I know, yeah, the game launches on October 28th. They haven't said anything about removing it yet. I'm pretty sure they will. Like, and if they don't do it before launch, they'll see how shitty their launch is. You're gonna have a lot of kids adding their cell phone numbers, but I also like it's gonna be like problems, people losing their phones, having to get new cell phone numbers, having to relink accounts, and I just see it causing problems in the future. And also, like, I don't trust them. You know what I mean? Gaming companies get hacked all the time. Like we saw a freaking teenager hack 2K, hack freaking Rockstar
for the biggest game in the world, right?
Yeah, and supposedly I read the other day that he actually got a lot of personal files in the hack as well. Like, so that's like contact information and stuff like that. So I wouldn't want to go and give my cell phone number out to anybody that could potentially like get hacked, and then I'm getting spam calls, or people are like signing me up for like call centers and you know what I mean? I don't know. It could probably be worse than that, but I think it's a dumb idea. I hope that they get rid of it because I'm looking forward to the game. I actually am looking forward to playing Modern Warfare 2. I'm hoping it'll be on Game Pass. I'm not too sure if it will or if it won't. I remember I think someone said something about it being confirmed to come to Game Pass eventually.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I think in theory, the phone number thing makes sense. It's just with the practicality of
personal. That's the thing. It's quite personal.
Yeah.
The trust issue. Like I said, it does make sense. Look, it's the first big thing they've done to try to combat cheaters. Because Call of Duty has had a notoriously horrible, like, not approach to cheaters, but like they struggle with a lot of cheaters and hackers. That was like Warzone has an issue with it. Every Call of Duty has an issue with it. They don't have very good anti-cheat software, at least from my experience. You know what I mean? Like I play a lot of Valorant, and the anti-cheat software in Valorant is so good that there are days where it hasn't happened often because I don't get linked with cheaters. But sometimes you're playing a game and the game will just stop and a giant red screen will be like, hey, there is a cheater that was found in your game, so this game no longer counts, especially if it's a ranked game. It'll be like, hey, this will not affect your rank or anything. There was a cheater in your lobby. We're ending the game. Hop into a new game. You know what I mean? Like, Call of Duty doesn't have anything like that. Their anti-cheat isn't very good. I think that they so look, it's like it's at their heart, and their heart's in the right place. If that's as much of the heart could be in the right place with Activision Blizzard, but you know they are trying. I see it getting a lot of backlash, and they're gonna have to they're gonna have to pull that out. I know I'm not gonna give myself a number. You know what I mean? Also, like maybe can you just maybe you can give fake numbers? You know what I mean? Get like a burner account or something, or burner phone just for that. Like how you it.
My issue is like I said, in theory it makes sense, but in practice it doesn't. So imagine if you're like a kid who has it or whatever, or what if you don't have a cell phone and your parents have a cell phone, or you know what I mean? Like then use
your parents' cell phone accounts.
I don't know. It just becomes problematic. What if you're a gamer but you don't have a phone? I mean I know usually most people have a phone. Gamers have a phone, but maybe there's not. Maybe the little kid that wants to play. I mean, obviously, in theory, like I said, like someone young shouldn't be playing Modern Warfare 2 or whatever. But we know that's not true. We know like little kids are playing this game. Like parents. Yeah. Like I said, I've seen parents bring
that's the bulk of their money. You know what I mean?
I've seen parents bring their kids to like super R-rated movies and like and they're like 5-6 years old. So yeah, I'm not expecting like there to be like some sort of like, oh, if you're only 13 or 14 above, you play this game. It's like, nah, I know there's like 7-year-olds playing this game. Anyways, next topic.
News, I sent it to you here in the chat.
Yes, I saw this before you actually had sent it to me because
Watch the clip though if you can. There's 2 different clips. So there's the lady who broke her back into 2 different places, and now she needs a metal rod in her back. And then there's also somebody who sprained her ankle.
Yeah.
For context for those who are listening and watching to this, so TwitchCon happened, and they had one of those foam pits where you could kind of like stand on like a platform with these foam batons, and you can have like battles and
Yeah.
a bunch of streamers up there fighting each other. And in theory, it looks like a lot of fun. And you know what? When you look at it from like a lot of the fights that you look at, you're like, okay, yeah, it does look like fun. It looks safe or whatever. But this foam pit was like knee high or less. It had basically like basically two layers of foam.
Yeah.
And then from what I've heard, not even like padding underneath that. Like it's just concrete. You know what I mean? So it's got those foam squares and then just concrete underneath that. Like not even like a little like yoga mat buffer or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a Twitch streamer, Adriana Chichek, I think. Chichik.
Okay.
So butchering that.
The thing about that is like when I first heard this news and they talked about it, all the comments were like, because they call her Twitch streamer, which she is, but she's actually more well known as an adult entertainment actress.
Correct.
And so like
there have been a lot of memes.
All the
like,
comments were like, "You mean
pretty bad.
Adult entertainment? Versus Twitch."
I think the worst comment I saw, I did laugh at it, but I felt guilty for laughing at it. Was people saying like, I thought she already had her back broken a few times, which is horrible. It's a horrible thing to say.
There's a lot of jokes at her expense.
I have seen a lot of chiropractors and doctors comment on the video, and they're like, oh, like, because you see her bounce, and that's not from the foam. That's literally hitting concrete and then bouncing up.
I can't believe they let the pad. There was no padding underneath. That's crazy.
At least from what I was told, even if there was or wasn't, it's like it's two layers of foam, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you like I said, if you look at the video, if you look at the pictures, even it looks like a proper foam pit, but it's not. Like, because when you see that, you're expecting like most foam pits are deep. You know what I mean? Like at least I want to say like 5 foot minimum. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like deep. Like this thing was like maybe like a foot and a half off the ground or something. If I had to speculate. There's another lady who there's another lady who fell and sprained her ankle. Yeah. This girl literally broke her back in 2 different places and has to have a metal rod. Like that's for life as well. You know what I mean? A metal rod supporting your back. Like that's. Like back problems, even a small back problem can be with you for the rest of your life. So I do think that Twitch, like here's the thing, they immediately like put the blame on I think Lenovo, who was in charge of this booth or whatever. Yeah. Like they immediately shifted the blame to whoever like set it up, and they were like, oh, it's actually their fault. But I'm like, just so you know, this happened at TwitchCon. I don't think people are gonna forget that it happened at TwitchCon. It's your event. Who cares whose booth it was? I mean, maybe that will become a legal implication.
Yes.
Currently, from what I've found, I think Adriana is looking for other people that were injured as well. Because, like, you're going to have a better chance if more people got injured, then you can have a class action lawsuit. At least if you need to get, like, quite a few people involved. But a few people hurt themselves when they were falling, What scares me is that, from what I could tell, somebody could have... This could have been way worse. Like, not just for her, but for other people. Like, if they fell head first backwards, like, some serious head trauma could have happened to some people out there. I just don't know who greenlit this. And they were like, yeah, well, this is enough foam. You know what I mean? Yeah, it baffles me. It baffles me, man. Twitch has been taking some L's, man. They've been taking some L's lately. You know what I mean? Complaining that they don't have good internet, even though they're owned by Amazon and they use Amazon Web Services and they can't get better web services from Amazon, who owns them. I don't know. Giving pay cuts, you know what I mean? The favoritism that goes on, the unfavoritism that goes on, if you will, as well. The fact that some people get banned for life for doing things, but then you can go and have sex on stream and get banned for 7 days. And they've been taking some serious L's, man. I think they're still going to be the top dog for like a good 5 years or so, but I think after that, YouTube's going to be where it's at, man. You get paid for your YouTube shorts now. You get the 70-30 split a lot easier. I think you need 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 watch hours or something. Then you can get into the ad program and get the 70-30 split right away, rather than getting a partnership on Twitch, which is damn near impossible. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, I know it's not really gaming related, but Twitch is pretty much a gaming community. Yeah. At least that's how it started, Take all the hot tub streams and ASMR stuff out of it. And it's still very much about gaming. The other little things I have are very small, so I'm just going to mention them real quickly. For instance, we know a lot. We covered this a while back. Square Enix sold off pretty much all of its Western companies. Yeah. One of them being Square Enix Montreal. They just rebranded as Onama. Onama. Could be pronouncing it
Not
wrong.
a good name.
Not a good name. Under Embracer, who bought them. So the only reason I bring this up is because it does seem like, well, they work on Lara Croft Go, which I think is a cell phone game, but it's also on PC, I believe. But it comes across as a cell phone game. I could be very wrong about that. If I am, I apologize to anybody. But it's just nice to know that they are eyeing sequels, remakes, remasters, and spin-offs. So, like, the IP didn't die, which was my speculation. We thought the IP was going to be sold off individually. Like Embracer was going to buy it, and then they were going to sell off the IP individually. But they're not. Like what they had. What is the other IP that they had here? It was they had Deus Ex and Thief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd love another Thief game. They had they had the Legacy of Kain franchise.
Which they're or not petitioning, they're polling people like whether or not they should bring
Crystal
back
Dynamics was seeing if there's enough fans. That was October. Yeah, I'd love another Legacy. I'd love a remake, and I'd love a sequel. Like I'd be down for either of those. But yeah, it's nice to know that Lara Croft isn't gonna die. I didn't think it would, but like I was a bit worried because it's like like we said, at a certain point in time, Lara Croft was the face of gaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like was literally the face of the face of gaming for the longest time. She was a huge gaming icon, you know. But yeah, so horrible name to rebrand it as Onama.
Well, yeah, if you can't pronounce it, it's
that's how you know,
Yeah.
Or if you don't know how to pronounce it immediately, then yeah. So exciting stuff about the Steam Deck. You don't need to reserve it. You can just purchase it now. You know, I like that. I knew we were going to get there eventually, but not this soon, to be honest. But yeah, you can. You don't have to reserve a place in a queue to buy one. They've removed the waiting list. You can just buy the Steam Deck directly via its online store. Whilst I say that, they did do a promo for the Steam Deck where they accidentally showed off a Nintendo Switch emulator on their Steam Deck. I don't know if this was accidental or if it's shade or whatever. Here's the thing: I actually know the emulator. Well, you can like if anybody knows what I'm talking about, you can find the screenshot. You can see the video. The name of the emulator is in there. I don't know if I can mention it. I don't want to get us into any trouble or anything, but I will say I actually have used that emulator before, and it is fantastic. Those Switch games purr on my PC. I still bought a Switch because I like the handheld aspect of it. That's the whole reason I bought a Switch. Also, like to support developers, you know what I mean? I feel because technically with an emulator you'd have to pirate the games, you know what I mean? And that's not a good way to support the developers. You're not going to get new games. But for anybody who's curious out there, it is a great emulator. I'm not going to mention it. The name is on it on the right. If you ever find the screenshot that I'm talking about. If you ever want to play your Nintendo Switch games on your PC. But I just think it's funny that they showed it. Like that couldn't have been an accident. That must have been intentional, you know, or like a bit of shade where it's like, hey, look, you can use emulators on our Steam Deck. Like, and then of all the emulators they chose the Nintendo Switch emulator, you know? They could have chosen a PlayStation 2 emulator, you know? They could have chosen like a PlayStation 3 emulator. Well, I don't know if a PS3 emulator would run on there. Those are actually quite beefy and resource heavy. Anyways, I'm not gonna lie, the Steam Deck is looking pretty good, man. A lot of games don't run too good on it, but like a lot of games run perfectly on there. The last bit of news I have is the fact that EA is replacing Origin. A new PC app is coming out.
Oh yeah. It's just.
Is it going to be better? It can only be better because Origin is the worst fucking thing I've ever used in my life. Like, well, then again, the Ubisoft launcher is also horrible. Like, it's really bad. The Ubisoft launcher is really horrible. But, like, the Origin app is notoriously known for being horrible. And it's confusing, too, because it's like, if you have Game Pass, you use the EA app, is what it's called, or whatever. The EA app, which is tied to your Game Pass account or whatever, and that's when you can download and access all your EA Play games. But it's separate from Origin. I've always hated Origin. I also am not a fan of the EA app. I'm hoping it's better. Like it can only be better. You know what I mean? They're going for faster and more reliable and streamlined. Man, that's the last bit of news I have. There's not much else to say. I just hope it's better because Origin sucked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really use it. I have a few games on there.
It's only on PC. People on Mac still have to use Origin apparently.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, I think that's it for this
Yeah.
episode. I want to thank everyone who's been listening and watching us. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. We also have our podcast on Spotify and Anchor.fm. You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. We also have a Discord channel. You can check that out in the link below. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me in the Discord channel. I'm always down to talk. You got any questions, just drop it in our main chat. I reply to it when I can. I love talking about video games. You guys can also find me on Twitch at It's Thespis, all lowercase. Once I get to 100 followers, I will go back to weekly streaming.
All right. Until next time, see you guys later.
Later.